Hello, we're looking at the remainder of saying 13 in the Gospel of Thomas. Here's how it goes. Jesus took Thomas, and they withdrew. Jesus said three things to him. When Thomas returned to the other disciples, they asked him, "What did Jesus tell you?" Thomas replied, "If I tell you even one of the sayings that he told me, you would pick up stones and throw them at me, and fire would come out of those stones and burn you up." We can only receive wisdom and understanding according to our capacity, according to the room that we make for it. When we are full of ourselves, when our minds are made up like beds in the morning, and we don't want any new ideas to slide underneath those covers, we cannot hear. If we have ideas about who Jesus is and what he is like, he can stand right before us and tell us differently, and we will not hear it. We might even condemn him for blasphemy. Peter and Matthew had their minds made up. Thomas was open and receptive. So Jesus called him aside, away from the others. Our own quiet time, our own being alone away from the crowd, is essential for spiritual growth and for our development. Jesus said, when you pray, when you meditate, when you open, go into your closet. Jesus told Thomas three things. Perhaps we will understand what those three things are as the bubbling water, or my commentary on this bubbling water of Jesus' sayings in the Gospel of Thomas goes on. What they were, though, is not as important as that they were told. They were three specific communications from a person of cosmic awareness that the ordinary, the ordinal mind, ordinary consciousness would not comprehend. But Thomas was ready to hear them. And afterward, Thomas did not go off into his own personal nirvana and remain isolated from humankind. He followed the path of the Bodhisattva and returned to the marketplace. The rest of the group was, of course, dying with anticipation. What did he tell you? What did he tell you? Thomas followed the example of Jesus and kept his mouth shut. Some of the things we're told in private, in prayer, meditation, contemplation, are to be kept to ourselves. They are to sit within us and continue to generate spiritual energy and understanding. If we speak them aloud, they lose some of their sacredness, especially if we speak to someone who does not comprehend. Thomas told them, "If I tell you even one of the sayings that he told me, you would pick up stones and throw them at me." In other words, they would be shocked out of their gourds. Those considered blasphemous were stoned in those days, and they still are in some places. We stone people in a different way here in America. If you say something unorthodox, some people will throw stones of anger, hatred, misunderstanding, suspicion, and so on at you. You know how it goes. These days it is much easier to color outside orthodox lines. It is expected, even longed for. The old shoes we used to wear are way too tight. Thomas did not stop there. He continued, "And fire would come out of those stones and burn you up." There. That tells us a little about what Thomas was told. He had begun to learn about the nature of the universe. The stone that is thrown at another destroys oneself.